Hello everybody, Graveless here, coming to you with a quick video about mid-game combat doctrine and ship design. Continuing mid-game series because that's where we are in the playthrough, and it's something that is pretty important to talk about because transitioning over from your early game ship design, which is basically exclusively missile ships, into your mid-game ship design is something that a lot of people find difficult to understand what you're trying to do and why, along with trying to figure out what's the fastest way to get there, how to do it, and also how to pilot these ships. So, right now you can see one of the... Why did it do that? There we go. One of my mid-game workhorse ships for what you're eventually going to do. In mid-game, what you're doing is, rather than mono-hulling, which is what you usually do early on, you have all monitors, there are 3 missiles and 1 PD on each of them, you need to actually think about your fleet as a whole and how you want to design it. Under the default settings in the game, a fleet should be thought of as 10 ships. This is because there are 30 ships maximum per side in a fight. 30 ships maximum per fight, and how that's programmed is 10 ships maximum per side in a fight. Very often you're going to be outgunned by the aliens in terms of how many ships they're sending, but a lot of the ships they're sending are weak little useless weak little flankers that are filling out everything they're doing. So, at this stage, 2 types of ships. I believe we went over this in the early game video, but I'll go over again. There are flankers, which are the little ships that dance around. These are the MC-1 and MC-2 hulls. Gunships, corvettes, monitors, destroyers, frigates, all of these. And then there are the line ships, which stay in formation, slowly advance towards you, and start, shooting heavier and heavier weapons at you. Cruisers, battleships, battle cruisers, lancers, titans, dreadnoughts, motherships. What you need when you're doing a fleet doctrine is some of your ships are specialized for killing large ships, and some of your ships are specialized for killing small ships. Right now, we're looking at one of these large ship killers. This is because it's using kinetic rounds. If you look at your coil guns, note coil guns, not rail guns. This is not easy rounds. There are 2 types. You have the siege variant and the regular variant. This is something that might change in new patches because of changes to the alien AI, but right now the siege variant is just strictly better. And it only exists in 3-slot and 4-slot coil guns, which is one of the reasons why battlecruisers wound up being a stronger hull than battleships. But what this does is you point these at one of the enemy wall ships. They're not going to dodge your shots, so they continue hammering away with more and more coils until you overwhelm PD and your enemy dies. With sufficient amounts of PD, their ships can stop this, and that's a terrifying moment in mid-game. Enemies having high amounts of PD is going to be what loses you fights in the mid-game, not, or flankers overwhelming your sides. So, let's go over the anatomy of a mid-game ship. First off, drives. Advanced fission is the bread and butter of your mid-game drives. These are the, where's Lodestar? Lodestar Fission Lantern, Flare Drive, Firestar Fission Lantern, H. Orion, and Advanced Mini-Mag Orion. Honestly, I don't really think of any drive besides these drives as being important in mid. If you're going for long-distance drives, there is the Helicon drive, which is right here. But outside of Helicon, Lodestar, Flare, Firestar, and H. Orion, nah. Just nah. Going beyond that, we start getting into late-game drives and early end-game drives. The Poseidon Torch being the earliest one you can possibly research. At least, if you're going according to normal, how fast you go through this game. There are strategies to get fusion drives in what I would consider the mid-game, but I'm going to be making this guide under the assumption that any player looking for that is not going to be pulling this off. So I'll just give you a brief comparison. Firestar, H. Orion is my preferred, but I'll go through each of them. So, Lodestar. This one is going to eat a lot of fuel. It gets you going fast enough, but it's a lot of fuel. I'm just going to show you Burner by comparison. Burner cannot get you going fast enough with these ships. So, Lodestar, good amount of cruise acceleration, consumes so much fuel. Flare, you got a lot better fuel economy. It's still not great. Firestar, here we go. Now we're doing well. And my baby, the H. Orion drive. I love this thing so much. It's fantastic. But it's a bit more expensive than the others. If we want to go for long distance, I'm just going to show you where Helicon is with this. We are over our 1 millig minimum for cruise acceleration, and we have a lot of kips. This is why Helicon is your mid-game long distance drive. Beginning of endgame, I'm just going to show you the Poseidon Torch. Look at this thing. It's amazing. However, it eats your fissiles, so you have to be very careful with it. But we're going to be basing all our designs on the Firestar right now because we're the most reliable ones to actually get to. So, going over. Terawatt gas core fission reactor. This comes from advanced fission systems. It's also what allows you to get the Firestar fission lantern. Batteries don't matter. They might matter soon with a combat rework, but a lot of things are in flux right now in the game in regards to what's going on with ships. Tin droplet radiator. In your mid-game, you really want to get this. There are better radiators available. Lithium spray is an upgrade. Dusty plasma is a major upgrade, but they cost a lot of research points. So I'd say tin droplet, first one to aim for. We, of course, have our heavy siege coiler Mark II. Mark II is important because Mark I coil guns are bad. They're bad because they have a really slow fire rate and a really slow muzzle velocity. They shoot way too slow, and you won't hit anything. Railgun Mark III is better than Coilgun Mark I in every circumstance. This includes siege coilers. Then for PD, we have a point defense ion battery for enemy missiles and a 40mm autocannon set to defense mode. We have our targeting computer because any offensive ship needs a targeting computer. We have our heavy lithium heatsink. Lithium is the best heatsink in the game in terms of how much heat you can take for how light it is. It's one of the lightest ones and gives you a pretty respectable heat capacity. Heavy molten salt and exotics are better if you care more about heat capacity, but we still care about being mass efficient right now. ECM Mark III. ECM Mark III plus Alien Adapted Computers, ECM, is a fantastic defensive tool. It makes 10% of all attacks that are coming at you just not. The alien's weapons go on cooldown and stop working. However, to get Alien Adapted ECM, and you need to get the alien warships and alien computers researches done. Prior to ECM Mark III, with both of those being done, ECMs aren't good. Like, they're fine. If you get an officer, they can be good, but that's RNG. I don't put any ECMs on my ship until then. Magazine, because heavy siege coilers have relatively low total numbers of shots, and you're going to be fighting a lot of ships. If you're using regular coils, you're fine without a magazine. If you're using the heavy variant, you need a magazine. And lastly, armor. Armor is complicated, especially at this stage of the game. The big thing you care about armor for is enemy lasers. This is because any kinetic weapon can be PD'd, plasma is mostly irrelevant, and particle weapons, if you are defending against enemy lasers, don't matter, just by virtue of how their math works. So, unfortunately, the calculation for armor is really complicated. Luckily, I have done this for you, and I can just tell you what my main recommendations are. So, in early mid-game, flankers are going to be able to get around your ships and sometimes hit them on the side. This is why we have side armor at all. For your frontal armor, this is going to be facing the enemy's big line ships with their big, nasty laser guns. And it's bad. 60 is the point where you can basically ignore enemy orange lasers. If you're seeing primarily violet lasers on your enemy line ships, you need to bump this up to 80. which hurts. If your mid-game is unfortunately happening late in the game, and you see enemy X-ray lasers on your big ships, this needs to be 160. This eats a lot into your resources and a lot into your fuel and ship efficiency especially. But, so 60, 80, 160 are the main recommendations. And, if you see enemy gamma ray lasers, cry, kiss your crew goodbye. You need 260 armor to actually handle those. And you'll note, with adamantine armor, our battlecruisers cap out at 168. There's ways to improve this, but basically, enemy gamma ray lasers are ships that you need to kill fast. If you start seeing them, you need heavier ships to fight them than battlecruisers. Side armor. Luckily, flankers have lighter lasers. 5 side armor makes you proof against what I call light orange flankers. These are the MC1 flankers. This needs to go up to 8 for light violet plus heavy, 8 for light violet, 15 for heavy orange, and 25 for heavy violet. You are not dealing with X-ray flankers with side armor. That takes 60 side armor. It's not happening. But 65.5 is my main recommendation for this is a reasonably defensive ship and you're mostly facing orange lasers. If you're mostly facing violet lasers, you have to move up to 80-15-15 or 80-25-25 and look at how bad our Delta V is now. Firestar cannot economically do 80-15-15 at all. You really need, like, H. Orion can, but it's not happy about it. And 80-25-25, oh boy, is it unhappy pushing this. Like, this is a brick that is really hard to kill, but I don't recommend doing it. So 80-15-15 if you're really paranoid, but I'd recommend against it. I think go with 60, 80, 160 on nose, and 5 or 15 on sides. So, that is our Siege Coiler Battlecruiser. Let's go look over one of our other classes. This is our Laser Battlecruiser. So, here we've dropped the ECM because we need utility slots. We want to fill up with laser engines because laser engines are tremendously beneficial to your lasers. Green arc lasers are the first laser that is actually decent at confirming kills. You really want to upgrade to UV arc lasers and then UV phasers as soon as you can, but green arc lasers are viable. People also ask about particle beams. Early game particle beams beat out every laser before green arc lasers and lose to green arc lasers. Endgame particle beams are about as good, are like slightly better than green arc lasers. This is unfortunately due to the nature of how particle beams interact with armor and exotic armor in particular. So you can rush to these designs with particle beams, but if you're trying to use them in the endgame, it's just a painful experience. Don't do it. Also, plasma is an endgame weapon that is mostly bad right now. This is because what plasma does is allows you to get critical hits on enemy ships more often. It is the weapon for we are going to go engage in a long slog of killing enemy ships. But the aliens are better at long slogs than you are. Anyway, for our laser ship, we swap out our Ion PD for a point defense arc laser turret because these advanced laser engines massively benefit our laser PD. They give it a lot more range and make it a lot more useful. But this ship is more or less the same. Unfortunately, one thing you'll notice is we're relatively lacking in PD with these ships. And this is where your fleet comp matters a lot. With battle cruisers, my usual rule is four siege coilers can get through almost any PD wall. It's just a question of how long it takes. You then also want 4 laser ships for dealing with enemy flankers. That means you also need, but that leaves you precious little time for PD. I don't actually like the battlecruiser doctrine that much because of this, but that's sort of where it is. So, PD. The best one you can do in mid-game is a PD battleship. I put green arc lasers on the front so they can help on flanker duty. You have... And this is one that several players debate. Do you want to do 2 40mm, 2 ion PDs, and 2 laser PDs, or 4 laser PDs? It's an excellent question. But targeting computer, light lithium heatsink because we're not running very intense weapons. ECM, because we can, and like it helps a lot, and 2 laser engines to boost up our lasers. This is a very nice PD ship. If you want to go for pure PD ship, instead what you would do is 2 1-slot nose lasers. These are never killing anything, but they give you a little bit more PD. I like giving my ship the chance to actually kill things. Remember to put killy lasers on attack mode, anything that's meant to defend you on defense mode. Something else a lot of people like doing, though, is PD monitors. Now, 40mm, again, there's a question, do you do 2 laser PDs or 2 ion PDs? But 40mm laser PD, ion, or 40 laser ion are both valid. Again, we need a lithium heatsink, we want an ECM. This one has no targeting computer because it doesn't need a targeting computer. And it has a little bit more Delta V to share with the other ships in our fleet. Now, one thing you can do at this side is also move up from our first line ships to our heavier line ships, which is Lancers and Dreadnoughts. In Fleet Doctrine, 3 Siege Coil Lancers are all that I wind up finding I need to overwhelm most PD lines, so I can run 3 of these, 5 Laser Lancers, and 2 PD Dreadnoughts, and that fleet is complete. There's a problem with doing this in mid-game, and that problem is how much the ships cost. Well, there's 2 problems, actually. One, how much the ships cost. If you look at our ship prices down here, you can see our laser battlecruiser versus our coil lancer. The Lancer costs about over twice as many resources for what are likely to be our biggest problems: volatiles, metals, and nobles. The Lancer's also a fair bit slower and it costs more fuel to get up to Delta V. This is a problem because 2 battle cruisers is worth more than 1 Lancer. Like, just straight up, it's better. It's less MC efficient, but if you're still trying to get ships out, more ships until you hit that ship deployment limit per fight is better than bigger ships. Bigger ships are better when you want to be MC efficient with your ships, or when you're at your deployment limit and therefore you want each ship to be as powerful as possible. So early mid-game, run battlecruisers and battleships. Later on in the mid-game, and especially when you have better drive tech, you want to go up to Lancers. But this does get a little bit more complicated when you do heavier armor too. I'm just going to do a direct comparison. Let's say we're getting later in the mid-game, we need to upgrade to 160 armor, right? So 160.55, I'm just going to save this design to show it off in here. And we will grab our Coil Lancer and also do 160.55. Although with Lancers, I find you can often get away with 160.11 because their firepower is higher by enough that you don't need to worry as much. So now that this is happening, the Lancer is still twice as expensive. But it's tricky. But if you go down to 160.11, like I think you actually can with the Lancer, where you can't with the battlecruiser, the Lancer is now 1.5 times the price. A lot better overall. But the other big advantage Lancers have is they have more utility slots. When doing Lancers, here's your 3 you always need. Oh wait, we can get exhaust velocity efficiency. We can grab a salvage bay to improve our ability to loot. These extra utility slots are fantastic, and honestly, +1 PD slot on the ship itself also saves this ship's life a lot. Like, eventually you're going to be going up for Lancers, Dreads, and Titans at some point, but mid-game, this is one to consider. Just to give you the full explanation for the Dread, I'm going to also show off my PD Dread, and also this is my endgame design as well. This thing will eventually just upgrade to phasers and not care. You will note this is the same size nose as our battlecruiser. That means this ship is substantially better offensively than the battleship is, while also being able to hold 2 more point defense slots for only +1 MC. Like, PD Dreads are so much better, but I'm going to show you now the other reason why it's fraught to use these ships in mid-game. Ship construction time is complicated. If you go over a ship, let me grab my PD monitor, you will see 137, 91, 64 days. That's how long it will take to construct these ships in a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 shipyard. Remember when I said when you compare a battlecruiser, which is, you know, we build it in a Tier 3 shipyard, takes 96 days, to a Lancer, we build it in a shipyard, it takes 182 days. The Lancers are twice as expensive and take twice as long to build. If we go down to a Tier 2 shipyard, battlecruiser takes 228 days. That's... Oh, wait, I'm sorry, that's a battleship. That's a battleship. Battlecruiser, 137 days. Lancer, 271 days. Our issue got worse. Battleships are closer to Dreads and Lancers, but still cheaper. I'm just going to put them in right now so you can compare. And this is the reason why a bunch of people swear by point defense monitors rather than upgrading to battleships for their point defense. I like using battleships for fleet, like getting your fleet overall in the same area, but construction time matters a lot. I really do not recommend trying to do, especially dreadnoughts, like... Wait. Yeah, like dreadnoughts and Lancers, I really don't recommend going to them until you have Tier 3 shipyards available. Oh, also, today's tea is a lychee rose tea, black tea. Very nice, fairly light, a little sweet. But none of that matters if you don't know how to pilot your ships. So, I'm going to save what's going on, go back out to the start of the game, and I'm going to do an example that you're going to see. How it all works out. So let's go to main menu and load up our skirmisher. That felt real nice. Please do not crash. There we go. So we're going to skirmish against the aliens. We're going to add player ships, import from save. This is also a great way to just test your designs out and see if the design that you're working on works out for you. So we're going to go with a basic fleet that is of the type that I like doing, which is say, so mid-coil battlecruiser, 2, 3, 4. We are then going to do mid-laser battlecruiser. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, more would be better, but PD matters. Let us do our PD battleship. Mid PD BB. Here's our fleet. These are 10 ships. They are guaranteed to get in. Let's go find some alien ships to throw at ourselves. Let's say the aliens are... what's this dreadnought have? Nope, that's a gamma ray laser. That's not mid-game. What's this dreadnought have? Okay, yeah. Big orange laser that our nose should be good against. A fair bit of PD, an annoying amount of PD, but I'm just going to use this as an example. So, they got one of those. What is this cruiser? Yeah, they got 2 cruisers. Let's throw in a few destroyers. Like, this is a... No, we want 2 cruisers. The aliens are throwing a pretty beefy fleet at us. 3, 4... So 3 destroyers and... no, I wanted 3 destroyers. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gunships. It's actually probably more likely that they'd have... what's this frigate do? That might be a little nasty. Yeah. So, look at our combat strength. This is the type of thing you might see. Now, begin skirmish. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to beat this fleet. But I'm going to show you what I would do to try and beat this fleet. And there are keyboard commands that would make this easier that I unfortunately do not remember, but other experienced players know them better than I do. Alright. So in this fleet, you basically always want to high wall. We would like our battleships to be center. I think shield center. Yeah, there's our battleships. And against an alien fleet like this, there's basically 3 major formations, and I'm going to show you each one of them. There's one where you're going forward, which improves your kinetics, but relies on you having enough PD to deal with their kinetics. How much you do depends. I'm going to start fighting with the default. Let's see what they've done. Yep, we are wall versus wall. This might suck a bit. I forgot to turn off Discord notifications. Anyway, so first thing we're going to do is retract radiators. All our ships have heat sinks. Let us find... then, we are going to look at our enemy ship. So, this guy is mostly orange lasers and has tons of PD. We really want him dead first so that we can kill other ships. Then we look at the enemy flankers and go, alright, that's annoying. Ooh, oh wait, that's a frigate. That's a 512 versus a 256. So, these 3 destroyers are our primary targets for killing flankers. So what we're going to do is set a personal to each of these destroyers. I'm going to put 2 ships on each, and then once one of them starts, and then I'm going to put my battleships on the 3rd one. The 3rd one is going to probably do really nasty things to us if it can, but let's watch what happens. Now, this dreadnought has a nasty laser. We cannot turn our sides to it until that laser is disabled. Our siege coils are just shooting random things. Our lasers are shooting things. All right, we're killing some ships. We are now on target for these destroyers. All right, we're still killing some ships. You can see the enemy PD is starting to do things. All right. And this is now going towards where we want. I'm pausing right now because this is about the time where these are going to start coming to our sides. That's where our side armor comes in, but we're hitting the destroyers. Oh, enemy mag weapons are coming in. This is where our PD ships are nice. We have lost something. Alright, one of our PD battleships took a nasty hit from the sides, but we've hit the front of this destroyer. We are now going to lock noses so that our ships are going to turn and deal with this cloud of enemy ships that's very annoying. We're probably going to lose some during this. Meanwhile, the enemy line is... Alright, we've started destroying some of them. Alright. That's done. No random phone call. I'm not going to answer you right now. We are now going to... Honestly, our siege coilers can probably handle themselves. We need to go... Alright, so what I'm going to do for ease of fixing things myself is I want these destroyers dead. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to manually grab our siege coilers and put them towards this cruiser that still is alive. And I suppose one of them can go finish off the other cruiser. There's better micro you can do to make these a bit better, to, like, handle this better for a lot of things, but I like fighting lazily. Okay. And now that this is all done, we are locked nose. I'm just going to have all my ships turn around and start killing these guys. Pew pew, pew 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 pew. The siege coilers are unfortunately not going to hit the broadside of it. Did they just hit? Oh my god, it forgot to dodge. And here's where I let the AI just take over because it's usually pretty good about not dying, and I'm lazy. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I lost 0 ships. One of my ships got pretty badly damaged, but overall we won that fight. And, like, in most games, I would consider this a pretty strong victory. Because we can now go repair this and come back to fight another day. But there's a really cool strategy you can use once you have advanced fission engines and a decent amount of thrust. And I'm going to show that to you now to close out this video. I believe on the Discord people call it the Tokyo Drift style of fighting. Game. Please, K main menu. Send me back. Alright, let's go back to skirmish. We're fighting the exact same alien fleet. They still think they outnumber us, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I should actually count how many ships they have. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16... Yeah, this feels like the type of the number of ships that the aliens will often send at you. So. Yeah, so like they outnumber us in terms of total number of hulls, and they think they have a combat advantage of 3 to 1. Come on. Boo, 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 boo. There we go. So, once more, we are going to high wall with shields in center. We're going to start immobile, though. Alright, they did a different formation. Cool, cool. What happens? Random. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start retreating. I'm going to start retreating. And watch what happens. So we have just started our retreat. Not super fast. And let's just have everyone like target that again. And swap back around. So we are now moving away. This is going to lower the damage of our kinetic weapons, but also slow their rate of advance, especially for their cloud of flankers. Like, this is a much more defensive posture. You can start retreating faster. I probably should have done it a little bit faster. And usually some of their ships will start breaking formation. Actually, you've already started to see it. Some of their ships are breaking formation now to try and get closer to us. Alright. We have started sending siege coils against that. Let's do this. Let's do this. Siege coiler on the PD ship. Siege coiler on the PD laser ship. Siege coiler on the PD laser ship, last siege coiler, and screw it. Kill that. Alright, now we're going to grab this guy. It's going to kill the one that's accelerating ahead. This guy is going to kill the... Kill is also on him. This one is on one of these two. This one is on the other one of these two. Alright, yep, starting to take some hits. Let's do 2 siege coilers on each of the enemy heavies. Oh, we are taking some hits again. Oh. Actually, No, that's fine. That's fine. Why have you turned this way? Oh, because you have no target. That's why you've turned this way. Turn back normal. This is the one problem with lock nose, is sometimes your ships will get themselves caught in a really stupid position. And I probably should not have told them to lock nose. So undo lock nose. Alright, what I'm going to do is find something in the mid... Okay, no, we actually have in fact split into two. Okay. You know what? We're going to murder a ship one by one. That ship is now useless. Let's kill this one next. That ship 2 is now useless. I was doing this really intelligently, which I guess I will start doing. I would not do this to my siege coils. But yeah, it turns out this one actually did not work as well on the retreat strategy. Live and learn. Well, actually, it might be. I think this battleship is less hurt. Yeah, I think this ship is overall less hurt. We are still doing quite well. If we'd been retreating faster, we probably would have seen overall better results. I'm just going to put it on AI mode. Wait. AI mode, unlock nose. Oh. Someone's being a jerk with plasma. Yeah. When the aliens have a huge cloud of flankers, doing this can sometimes work better. It worked worse in this circumstance. That's probably somewhat on me rushing my micro too fast. But those are sort of the two main strategies for what to do when you're doing mid-game piloting. Like, I lost a ship this time. That's a lot worse. Rip. Sometimes you lose ships. That's the nature of the game. Oh, and, oh, no. Yeah, that's sort of it. That is basic primer for mid-game combat. And the last one I'm going to show off really quickly is my silly thing that I love, which is that missile battleship, where we have nose lasers and everything else is missiles. Oh, wait. Mid-missile battleship. We are just going to do 10 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to do this once because it's a silly design. It's one of the main ways to keep your missile ships working into the mid-game. And the big thing for this that's actually quite nice is the AI is often... The AI is actually pretty good overall with missile targeting. I'm going to see if they decide to be good or bad with this, but I'm also going to ensure that I have enough lance heads going towards what we actually care about. So this one is one in which we want to be going fast because we want our missiles to get there quite quickly. So we're going to, once again, retreat those. I'm going to put most of my ships on AI control. And then I'm going to take this one and say kill the dreadnought. I'm going to take this one, also say kill the dreadnought. This one is going to go after the first cruiser. This one is going to go after the second cruiser, and let's just watch what happens. Once we get into range... Oh, they're all going for the same flank. And my missiles have begun firing. Alright, yep, the AI is shooting a lot of missiles out at agile ships, which is not a great plan. Like, really not a great strategy. Sometimes they will hit, and it looks like in this case they are whiffing a lot. Yeah, they're whiffing a lot. But our lasers are doing their job. And now... look at this swarm of missiles going for the enemy heavies. That enemy PD ship is doing its best. It's doing its best. And now it's just getting obliterated. And actually, we can undo AI, lock nose target, and just go, what's nearby? All turn, fire laser. All turn, fire laser. Bam! Wonderful. Missiles can continue for so long, and we have so many extras. Like, this is the type of thing that would be fine against a lot of different fleets. And we have a lot of missiles left over, actually. Lots of missiles across many different ships. As I said, the AI has actually gotten pretty good at handling missile targeting. But that's sort of it for mid-game ship design. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope this helps out your games, and have a good one. Bye.